So the main subject areas, we specialise in kind of the traditional professions, so subjects and programmes that would give you access to the traditional professions. So if you think of Liverpool, think of medicine, business, management, finance, engineering, architecture, law, this kind of professional range of programmes. We do a lot of other programmes like humanities and social sciences. You can study modern languages, for example. You can do English, history, sociology, psychology. There's a whole range of programmes. But because there's 400 and I don't know them all, I would just say, think of the professions. Think of those top professional subjects. Usually at Liverpool, programmes will be accredited by a professional association or a professional body. So you quite often get a membership of a professional organisation as well as your degree. And you can do things in some cases like a year abroad or a short international opportunity. And you can do sometimes a whole year of work experience as part of your degree, just depending on which programme you study. Coming towards the end of my bit, but we have really good facilities in terms of being a research intensive institution. One of the things that translates into is excellent research facilities. So things like labs, biosciences labs, things of that nature, and really just the whole on-campus experience is very good. But what you notice in Liverpool is a very old traditional side of the university, and then a very modern, sort of innovative, growing side of the campus, and it comes together to give you kind of the best of both. Now I'm from Liverpool. If you don't know the Liverpool accent, this is it. I could speak a lot faster, and I could really make it difficult for you, but I'm trying not to. And you can do the same to me in Arabic. I'm sure I won't understand if you speak very quickly. But أنا أتكلم شوي عربي, so I do know a little bit. But yeah, in the city of Liverpool, you'll notice this blend of very grand, very traditional, with very new and very modern. Okay. Final thing I'll mention before handing over to Farida is, apart from the university and the type of university and the sort of programs we offer, we've got really good employability ratings for students. So at the last count, 97% of our graduates were in employment or further study within 6 months. And that's kind of sector leading in terms of employability ratings. One of the ways we do that is with the Careers and Employability Department. And it's moved on now. It's not kind of like the old type of career support was a bit like a job centre, just based in a university. So you'd go to the on-campus career centre. They might help you to find work placements. They might give you a little bit of help with how to write a CV. Now it's much bigger in scope. So we have the Careers Hub, and the Careers Hub is staffed by not only careers advisors, but very recent graduates who've gone on into business and into different jobs. Even some current students. It's a completely different approach that we take. In a nutshell, to sum it up, we take you through 3 processes: the Explore process, the Connect process, and the Apply process. In Explore, this is where the careers coaches will help you to identify different job sectors. Then within those sectors, different roles, different opportunities, and try to uncover the vast scope of jobs and careers that you might consider. You may come to the university with a general idea of what you'd like to do for a job, but this is all about really opening your mind and raising your awareness to the huge range of jobs that you might do in the future. They then move into the Connect zone, where they have networking events with major employers in the UK. Former students who run their own companies will come in, different professionals. So let's say you want to work in law, but you're not sure if you want to work in criminal law, family law, and so on, we've got access to these different professionals who can give you sort of mentoring and guidance on, this is what my job's like, would you be suited for this role? So you can really drill down and be a bit more strategic with your sort of goals for the future. And then finally, the apply zone is where we do give you help with employability skills like how to be strategic with applications, how to tailor a CV, for example, and a range of experience to a specific industry and a specific role, interview preparation, and so on. There's a whole lot that we do. Running alongside the physical one-to-one support, they have a program of digital discovery events, and these are short webinar sessions, basically delivered by professionals and university staff on just a whole range of employability skills. So you get the one-to-one support and a lot of flexible support as well. And finally, as well as the centralised support, the academic departments quite often have their own complementary employability support. So if you wanted to study, let's say, business, management, finance, marketing, something like that, the management school has an additional career support program where they do things like business games, competitions with businesses and universities from around the country. So yeah, so much support, and it all culminates into really good outcomes for you. Like I said, 97% of students have gone on to get really good outcomes in the last couple of years. Finally, I'm just going to mention fees and scholarships just very briefly. Now, on our website, if you just Google the University of Liverpool International, you'll be given an international webpage specifically for international students. And on the page, it gives you all the links for tuition fees, scholarship, living costs, entry requirements by country. There's a whole lot of information on there. What I would just point out in general is that when you think about universities, some universities have very enticing scholarships, so it'll be a big number. It might be £5,000 off the tuition, or like a really big number that catches your eye. Liverpool does have quite generous scholarship, but we already have a much lower cost of living in the city of Liverpool and most of the places in the UK. So do think about that. Also, our tuition fees for most programmes are already lower than most of our little group. I don't like to say competitive, but that's basically the message. We've got a lower fee structure and lower cost of living to begin with. When you then bring in the scholarship, Liverpool's a really, really attractive package. It's a bit different if you study medicine or vet science or dentistry, because as for the fees for those programmes are really high no matter where you go. But in a general sense, Liverpool is quite affordable to universities. In terms of scholarships, if you are going to study undergraduate studies, if you come to us with the equivalent of 1A star and 2 A's in British A levels, so let's say you studied IB or the Thanawiyah in a Middle Eastern country, or some kind of comparable educational system, then as long as you've got the equivalent of 1A star and 2 A's, we offer you a £2,500 tuition fee discount in year one. And if you do well in your studies and maintain a first class average, we offer you another £1,000 for the remainder of your programme in every year. And if you've already completed bachelor's study and you want to go on to a master's programme, if your bachelor's is the equivalent of a UK first class, so that would normally be, let's say you've done an Egyptian bachelor's programme, if your maximum possible GPA would have been 4, then you need to get 3.5 to qualify for the bursary. It's all automatic, so you don't need to apply separately. We just give you the tuition fee discount. Some basic information. The best thing to do really, if you want to know programme information, is to just visit the website, because all of the module details, entry requirements, teaching style. It's all listed for you in a really nice format. What I can tell you is that accounting and finance is based in the management school. So when I mentioned earlier on that the management school gives some extra incentives, usually that involves things like extra accreditation. And with accounting and finance, that comes with accreditation from the accounting bodies as well. So it's been built with employability in mind. I think it's probably best to see if you like the course structure by looking at the website. It depends on which educational system you've studied in. If you're from a Middle Eastern country, you need to just complete the Danawiyah. If I'm pronouncing that right, I don't know. Apologies if it's the wrong pronunciation. But I think you know what I mean, the high school and Middle Eastern system. Usually it's our foundation partner is Kaplan. So you need to visit the Kaplan webpage. Basically, Liverpool International College is the name of our foundation. And they will tell you exactly what you need when they look at your documents. Usually, you just need to have completed high school at a decent level. You know, it needs to just be satisfactory pass. And you generally need some level of English language qualification. Usually IELTS of about 4, there or thereabouts. But it can be slightly different depending on which foundation route you need to go on. We have science and engineering routes, and we have humanities and social sciences routes. But I hope that gives you a general sense of what you might need.
Okay. And also, do you accept any kind of English test instead of IELTS?
Yeah, we do. I don't know what we asked Farida to gain, but I know we accept IELTS, TOEFL, Cambridge. There's a whole range, and there's an English language requirements website page on our website. But Farida, what did you have to do? Did you have to do an English language?
I did the IELTS, yeah.
I think IELTS is the most common at the moment.
Can you hear me? Okay, I think there is some. Okay, yes, Michael. I think about the PhD, we can a little bit touch as for Middle East. We receive lots of inquiry about the PhD and the best way to apply, and what would be your suggestion for PhD applicant?
Okay, sure. So anybody who's interested in a PhD probably knows it is the most complicated application process. In terms of what you do, it's quite simple, but because there's a lot of applicants for limited PhD projects, basically, it can take a long time to receive a reply. But I'll outline the general process, and yeah, hopefully it can be helpful. So if you go to the university's website, and you, for example, if it's Liverpool that you're interested in, we have 3 tabs on the top of the webpage, and one tab is Study with Liverpool. So you click on Study with Liverpool, and then you choose Postgraduate Research from the drop-down list. So search for the overall subject area. So if you want to do something related to human resources, then management would be the general subject. So you'll know what your overall topic is. Is it physics? Is it maths? Is it related to English language? Whatever the overall topic is. Search for that. And if we have an available PhD in the department, it will come up. What you do then is you click into that particular web page, and it will give you an overview of the research profile of the department. So the type of research interests that we have in that particular department. It will list some potential supervisors, so you can see their individual research expertise and what they're most likely to be interested in. There's a lot of statistics and rankings and everything really to do with the PhD offer in that department. Now, what you can then do is you can approach it in a number of different ways. If you already have a formed research proposal, then you can send it into the department. And the way you do that is there's like an overall departmental contact listed on each PhD page. So you send your proposal to this person, and they will identify potential supervisors and send your proposal to the supervisors. That's one way. Another way is that you read the biography of the potential supervisors, but there's usually a lot of potential supervisors. Like, there could be 50 potential supervisors, so it's a big job. But if you found 2 or 3 who are really aligned with your subject interests and your background, you can just send it direct to them if you wish. What happens then is they have to read through the proposal, assess whether there's any potential for a supervisor, researcher relationship. Then they would just have a conversation with you by email. So it's a very sort of informal process, but that's how you do it. Now, another way is if you don't have a research proposal, if you know that you want to do a PhD, but you're very flexible within a general subject, there's usually fully formed projects available that are just waiting for somebody to apply for. The benefits there are that you don't have to spend as much time coming up with a proposal, and also those projects are sometimes funded, so there's usually funding attached to it with some of the programs. If that's the case, you can just apply directly for that particular course. That's basically the process. But the one thing I will say is, don't expect to receive a really quick response to a PhD application. It can sometimes take, more than a few weeks. It can even take months. But if you know you've got a good application, and maybe you've already got funding, and there's no barriers to you joining us, if you don't get a response, speak to the counsellors at TCL. They can contact me, and we can try and ask the departments if they could respond. So very, very happy to help in that way.